Hey guys, welcome to my live. So today I wanted to jump on real quick and actually talk to you guys about building your audience. Are you struggling to actually sell your online coaching or your online course or your services? Well, it's probably one of two things. It's usually either you don't have the right audience or your offer is no good. Well, we're not going to deal with the second one today. Today, we're only going to be focusing on how to build the audience with the right people. So, here's how we're going to break it down. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about the strategy overall first, and then we'll get into the tactics. Okay, so the overall goal is to be able to get your message out to the most number of people, and then as you whittle down your funnel, then you're going to get more and more people that are more interested into your content and what you produce online, and then they'll be more interested in what you have to offer. But the first thing we need to do is make sure that we broadcast our message to the biggest audience possible. So the most efficient way to do it, especially when you first start out, you probably have no audience and you probably don't really have much of a following, and definitely probably not the people that are probably in your current following is probably just friends and family, maybe not necessarily your ideal clients. Okay, so what we want to do is actually go to the places where those people already hang out. What do you mean by that? Okay, so if I was moving into a new town and I wanted to go connect with more volleyball players, what would I do? I wouldn't just sit at home and just send out messages to random people saying, hey, you want to play volleyball with me? The easiest thing to do actually is to go to a volleyball court or go to a volleyball facility where volleyball people hang out and play. That is the fastest and quickest way to go find more people that I want to play volleyball with. And so when I moved into Houston, that's what I did. And immediately I was surrounded by volleyball players. And so what you want to do on the online space is, where do people that you want to sell to, that your ideal clients, what would you where would you find them? And the easiest place is to actually look and search on the Facebook task, the search bar, to with the keywords of your niche or your field of interest or your topic. And so what you can do is find those communities and basically join those communities. That is the fastest way to be able to be among the people that you think would be your ideal client. So here's a couple of things. What you're trying to do is broadcast your message about what you do to a large group of people. And then as the people eventually want to know, like, and trust you, they become your friends. And then that means they're going to your own profile. And on your own profile, that's when you can actually give them calls to action, give them more content where you can actually solicit them to get a lead magnet, or you can get them to jump on a strategy call with you. But if you can't, if you don't have an audience, you're going to need to be able to create an audience by yourself, which takes a long time, or you already go to an audience where it already exists. And that's the fastest strategy to grow your audience. Okay. So here's a couple rules though, guys. Don't be spammy. Okay. You cannot join these communities and start trying to sell your stuff, because A, you'll get kicked out. And it's equivalent of going to a party where you don't know anybody yet. And then you start going and says, hey, I'm Trung. You want to buy my stuff? Want to buy my stuff? Want to buy my stuff? And what's going to happen is you're going to get kicked out, or people are just going to get really annoyed and block you. Okay. So you don't want to do that. What you really want to do is become a valued member in the community. How do you do that? A couple of ways. The easiest way is to start engaging with people on posts that people have already created. So that's less work for you. You want to engage and comment on those posts. How do you comment though? You don't want to just go in there and just go like or heart and then, hey, that's really cool, because that doesn't really help you at all, right? What you want to do is trying to stand out. You want to come across as somebody that knows what they're talking about in that topic that your niche is, and also that you have authority, that you actually have some experience. And so when you comment, what you really want to do is making sure that you comment with something insightful, something of your own experience, and maybe give a tip back, and engage in a conversation or ask more in-depth questions. Another pro tip here, guys, is when you're doing this, what you want to do is also go on there and actually comment on those people's comments as well. And that is really a key here. And what you want to realize is only a very small percentage of people in any community actually create any post by themselves. And so the rest of the people actually read most of the other people's posts, maybe comment and write a comment back here and there. And so what you want to do is to be able to engage with a lot more people. So you want to engage with people that write the posts, but also the people that comment on those posts, because the people that comment on the posts are engaged in that community. And if they're engaged in that community, then they're going to be engaged with what you have to write as well. And so comment on those, add some insight. What you're trying to do is as if you're in a party with a lot of people you don't know. When you're sitting around in a circle and you're talking with people, and somebody makes a comment about something which is equivalent to them writing a post, well, somebody make a comment, well, you can add your 2 cents and add something insightful and make it a interesting comment of some kind. What you want to really do is showcase that you do have a little bit of knowledge, not in a braggadocious way, but sharing some knowledge that you've come across in your niche, and but also start a conversation. And so what you want to do is actually, when you start engaging with people on these groups, you are going to start friending these people, and they're going to want to friend you. Another big way to get people to be magnetized to you is writing post. That's your next step, is creating content that is attractive and going to be relevant to the people that you actually are going to be wanting to target, right? So if you are in the weight loss and you do paleo, well, you may want to write about, maybe cutting down carbs because you're on paleo and what those struggles are with, and you maybe write a post about the tips of how to get through a paleo diet without craving carbs all the time, which is something that all paleo people maybe crave all the time, but maybe they struggle with that, right? And so what your content needs to be focused around is talking about the pain points of your ideal client. So those people that comment on those posts are going to be your ideal clients. And so you want to create a conversation by creating a post and then engaging with those people that do comment and comment back and actually start a conversation. And then it's fair game for you to be able to friend request those people, because you've had a conversation. Just like you go to a party, you meet somebody there. Hey, John, very nice to meet you. And the next day, maybe you find him through a friend of a friend, because they're probably connected to one of the friends at the party. You see him on Facebook, you friend request him. It's totally normal. That's not anything different than if you're online and you actually friend request those type of people as well. Okay. So what you want to do is really find 10 Facebook groups to start out with that would probably have somebody in your ideal client, right? And what you want to do is go into those groups and start seeing, is there engagement in the group, right? So there's a lot of groups that the moderator or the admin are the only people that post on there, and it's a one-way conversation, and then they post only, and then they also just solicit comments, and that's it. And so you don't actually have as much opportunity to add value to the community. So that one is a little bit more limited. Okay. So I'm checking on here, make sure that I cut everything. Okay. So one of the things that shows you that it is an engaged group is people writing in post, asking questions, and then there's members of the community answering questions. And so there's a dialogue going. It's a place where people are congregating, are going for answers. And they're coming to that community to network with other people that have the same problems, have the same interests, and that they're using each other as sounding boards, as places for answers. And those are the communities that you want to really be a part of, because you want to be in the middle of those conversations. And that's the key. You don't want to go into a community where it's just one person posting all the time, and then there's not much engagement and they're just trying to sell, because that doesn't really allow you the opportunity to actually add a lot of value. Okay. So the goal is to make sure that they really, engage with you, and then actually start friend requesting them. So the goal is to really build your audience and building people that know, like, and trust you from those communities into your own Facebook profile. And on your Facebook profile, that's where you create more content as well. Obviously not the same exact content you post in groups, but more content that are relevant to your ideal client. Okay. So the goal is to make sure that you whittle the 10 groups down to about 3 to 5 groups. And that's what you're going to realize is the sweet spot where you have enough groups where you are engage with them, but you're not spending hours and hours and hours on end, spending all your time on social media with these 20 different groups, because you can't really have enough bandwidth to be able to build your business as well as trying to engage with 20 different groups. That's just too many. And so try to find 3 to 5 that are really quality groups, because you're going to find more value in being super engaged in 3 to 5 groups, being kind of quasi engaged in 20 groups. Okay. So let me make sure here. Here's another thing that I wanted. It's a pro tip here, guys. Set a timer on how much time you spend on these social interactions and spending time in groups and building your audience. Set a timer for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and do it 20 minutes at a time so that you don't get sucked into spending hours on social media. Another pro tip, guys, is making sure that you are only reading and commenting on the posts that have the topics that are relevant to your niche or relevant to the people that you are trying to target. Okay, so the goal is not to go in there and like every post or say cool on every post, because that does nothing to adding value to what you're doing. Okay, and so what you're trying to do with commenting is positioning yourself as someone that is A, part of the community, B, adding value, and also somebody that is of an authority. Another big tip that I want to tell you guys is share some successes of your clients and what they have achieved, because that is A, social proof. That is B, sharing some value to the group and saying, hey, I was helping my client with this and she was able to use this one tip as a breakthrough for her. And then I want to share with you guys because maybe that can help you. And when you do that, that allows you to be seen as a person of authority. And that goes a long way into some of the trust building that you are doing. Okay, so here's the thing. Your first step is really making sure that you find those groups that really are of your ideal clients. The second step is start making conversations, right? Start engaging in people's comments, but also in commenting on other people's comments as well. And the third tip is start creating content that is valuable to your ideal client. Here's a tip, guys, that this is probably one of the most important things is, I know it's intimidating when you first are creating content. You don't know what you need to write. You don't know what is really going to engage. So here's what I did when I first started was I read a lot of posts that are great posts. I would stalk certain types of people that I saw were creating amazing content. What I would do is create a swipe file or just basically a document where I copy and pasted a lot of their posts that I thought was really amazing. And then I modeled them. I used those frameworks of how they constructed that post and be able to create my own post. Remember, I said model. Don't copy. You don't want to copy because you want to be your authentic voice. You do not want to be copying other people's marketing copy, because that's inauthentic, that's illegal, and you're not really sharing your voice. We want to hear your voice. And when people understand and know and like and trust you, they're going to understand what your voice is and they're going to resonate with it. And so you don't want to be copying other people's, because that's their voice and that's not going to attract your ideal client. And so model great posts, guys. That is a shortcut way to understand how to put together a great post that gets engagement, because a lot of times it's really intimidating when you first start out and you don't know where to start. Okay, so that's a pro tip. So that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you guys got some value out of it. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you comment below. I would love to field any of your questions. Take care. Bye-bye.